buckets hit the fan, we're overrun. Sending boys in the trucks with the 50 cals. Tell every swinging deck bringing extra rounds. Hang in now, boys, we're on our way. Don't send them all to heaven before we get a taste. Whoa, cry havoc, let's slip the doors of room. What you gonna do?
And happy Sunday to you folks. Welcome to another edition of the Double S Podcast. We're back. We are live tonight. I hope any and everybody watching this has had an awesome weekend. Hope you've had an awesome week leading up. Finding your stride, getting some things accomplished out there, and that you are dodging the craziness that is in the world out there. Lord knows if you're too close to a phone or a news station, it's easy to get tripped up in this mess and get yourself down. I highly advise don't run away from that stuff. Get outside, go fishing, talk to people, get around other people, enjoy the beautiful weather. Speaking of, holy biscuits, best winter ever here in Colorado. Little dry, could use some rain. Rain would be all right. But I'll tell you what, I am absolutely loving this winter. My snowblower is still sitting and it's rusting right now. It has not been used all year long, and dude, I couldn't be happier. I'm personally just over snow. I have no tolerance or time for it. I don't need it. And this weather, man, 50s and 60s, just beautiful. Gets chilly at night. Yeah, I'm all about that. Thought I was going to have to move to get this kind of winter, but you know what? We'll take it. It's not. It's not. The sky's not falling. Everything's not going to. Just because we've had a goofy weather pattern doesn't mean things are falling apart out there. It's just a goofy weather pattern. That's what it is, and we'll move on. Hopefully, we get some water though, man. Speaking of water, we are less than a month away. We're almost exactly 30 days, 28, 29 days away right now from the first event of the year for the PBKS and the Romans Warrior Foundation and the True Patriot Outfitters. Our first event, March 14th, Conchas Lake, New Mexico. The people keep signing up. We have just blown out of the water on the turnout that we see right now for the people that are signed up. And I want to say right now we're sitting at 17 total, I think, have signed up for it. And of that, 14 are vets and first responders. Dude, this is going to be such a great gathering, such a great time. I'm a little bit worried on the food we're going to have to bring, right? Because we're feeding everybody Friday and Saturday night. So that's all right. I like having this problem, worrying about bringing enough food for everybody. It's going to be a great time. I have confidence the big man above is going to step in and help us with the weather to make sure that we can get down there. And that, when we're there, we're going to have a good time. We're going to catch some fish, guys. I mean, it's going to be pre-spawn, get it going early spring down in New Mexico. Anthony Barrera, the entire bass club down there, has done an amazing job with getting the word out, telling people, and then, of course, the support coming in there. Anthony is just some cool people, man. We're so fortunate to be working with him for this event. But, yeah, coming up, March 14th, we're going to be having it before you know it. We've got a pile of work to get done over here. Still got work on the trailer to get done. We've got some fabrication, some welding we got to get so we can get all of our kayaks and all of our gear down there with the new trailers. So, yeah, we're staying busy on this end. We're going to go through some tackle and all that good stuff tomorrow. All right, let's see here. What do we have going on? How about we just go ahead and we skip over a bunch of stuff and we just go right to the part where we pay the bills here and remind you guys how our show is remaining possible after 5+ years. From the beginning stages of when we didn't really know what we were doing, broadcasting off of Facebook Live only. Up to now, to where our coverage has gone worldwide, if you will, with the HMG all the channels we're going across there. Of course, we're on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify. It has been an amazing journey, and we're super, super happy. We couldn't have done it without these guys here. At the heart of everything we do, the Romans Warrior Foundation. Hashtag helping is healing. Go check them out at romanswarriorfoundation.org. Complementary alternative modes of intervention and medicine and therapy out there, if you will. Different ways, just the network and resources that the Romans Warrior Foundation has at its disposal, all the connections we've made across this country. If you need something, you're in you're in one of those positions there, reach out to the Romans Warrior Foundation. Brian is absolutely there along with his team to do what we need to do to get resources where we need to get them out there. Of course, at the heart of the Romans Warrior Foundation is the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance. The GWAT Wall, only mobile monument in the United States, traveling from coast to coast, dedicated to the entire GWAT era. That's not just the 9/11 piece. This is the entire GWAT era, which is 83 all the way up to the debacle withdrawal situation. That whole piece right there, that memorial, that one side is education, the other side is the honor side. If you've not had a chance to see it, go check it out. If you got something going in your local community and you want to take it to the next level by bringing the memorial in there, get a hold of the Romans Warrior Foundation. Reach out to them either at GWAT Wall or at Romans Warrior Foundation, and let's work it out. Let's get the details and the contracts, all that good stuff lined up, and let's get the memorial in there for your deal. Of course, our little nonprofit, the True Patriot Outfitters, restoring mission and purpose, removing isolation. That's what we're out here doing. We're doing it with the outdoors. We let Mother Nature do the heavy lifting. We're basically involved in this whole piece here for that purpose there, creating that bond and camaraderie, and giving us a great expensive new habit and hobby, which is kayak fishing, to focus on. Can't beat that. True Patriot Outfitters, check them out. Of course, none of this also we would be broadcasting out there if it weren't for the Heroes Media Group. Adam Bird, all the great podcasts that are on the Heroes Media Group, check them out. Something for everybody. Show on almost every night, and content galore. You'll find stuff that you're looking for. And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the sister company, HMG Beverage. Get you some freshly grown, veteran-owned coffee company. Get you some of that Kickstart. You will enjoy the Kickstart as much as I did. I guarantee it. All right, bills are paid. Our guest tonight, this guy, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of meeting him a couple times, but you're going to see, we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to chop it up right here live on the show. The organization he has founded is one that we quickly knew when we did our research and had a chance to chat with Marshall and his team that these are people we want to lock shields with. These are people on the same mission out there, and they have a similar vision, and they have an amazing heart right at the center of all this. And these are organizations we want to let people know about, and do our part to help further their cause. Just because the simple fact that there's not as many of those out there as we'd like to see. So when we do come across fantastic organizations like this, we'd like to let people know about them and bring their resources to bear for those of you out there watching the show, and of course, or listening to the show either way. So without further ado, let's bring in the founder of Combat Recovery Foundation, Mr. Marshal Spring. Marshall, what's happening, buddy?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. This is a great podcast, and I'm super excited to be a part of it now.
We appreciate it, dude. Yeah, it's our little creation, right? We keep breathing air into it, and it keeps moving. And dude, I could tell from when you and I met that you guys were an organization, and your team, you and your team were people that I wanted to get to know more, and I wanted to get to see. So immediately the podcast, of course, pops in my head. Great place to introduce people to you and to the foundation there and the work you guys are doing. When we're in the nonprofit space, when you start hearing other organizations speak in the same language as you, it's, oh man, it's just, there's that, yes, we got to get close to these guys because there's not a lot out there, in all honesty. So when we do find other organizations, Brian Romans has taught me that we want to lock shields immediately. Let's get to work out there. How can we help? So talk to me. Let's start with you. Let's introduce our listeners to you, Mr. Marshall Spring. What's your background? What brought you to becoming a founder of a nonprofit, my friend?
Yeah, thanks. So I was born in Colorado, raised in Oregon, joined the Marine Corps, right after 9/11, graduated high school 2001. So, I was in that age, and was an explosive detection dog handler, which, was a blast. And then, like so many veterans, worked as a security consultant for years and years and years until actually my business partner, who was a Marine, very unexpectedly killed himself. And so that's how I found myself working in suicide prevention.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's and unfortunately that story is not I guess on its own. There's a lot of stories out there we hear about our brothers and sisters out there. Um, so you were a Marine. See, I didn't even know that. This is fantastic. You are a Marine. And that's I attract somehow I find Marines. I find you guys out there somehow. Romans is a Marine. And I just ever since I met him, all of a sudden it's like there's something about I think in the core that if it wasn't there before, it'll be there as soon as you've completed your training, and that is serving others, service to others. And it just seems to be such a core principle within the Corps itself. I mean, that's it never stops from service, right? It just keeps on going. How can you help your community? How can you help others? I mean, that's talk to me a little bit about that drive to pick this up, because nonprofit work is pretty thankless most of the time, right?
Nonprofit work is very difficult. Definitely the most difficult business entity I've ever, been a part of starting. And, but, to your point, joining the Marine Corps isn't, easy, and there's no perception in that it will be. And so I feel like that is kind of its own filter. And so, if the desire to serve is really about, experiencing purpose. And I think that serving others is the key to discovering your purpose. And I think that's the key to happiness.
I love it, dude. Yeah, I mean it's right at the core, right? When there's time for intervention and there's time for when we have people in a dark place, one of the first things is do something for someone else, right?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
yeah. No, I feel that, man. It's a key component in that whole piece. So you that was your motivator and what got you started in with combat recovery, and it's basically so the Combat Recovery Foundation. What is its basically its mission is suicide prevention. Is that right?
Yeah, suicide prevention, and a lot of times that just gets looked at as like crisis intervention, but and we do get involved in that, but the majority of what we do is upstream prevention. It's making sure that people never get to the point that they would consider suicidality, and so really we prevent suicide through evidence-based effective mechanisms, and those are education and advocacy, one-on-one peer coaching, and fostering resilient communities. And really that last one is really where the rubber hits the road. It's our observation that all of us are suffering from an allergic reaction to isolation. And suicide is the most extreme symptom of that, but it's affecting every single one of us. And the solution to isolation is community.
Man, that's powerful. Absolutely love that. The community piece, the drawing in when I was speaking with you guys, that term upstream, I had never heard the term prior to that. When she said that, I was like, talk to me about what exactly does that mean? I think I know, but talk to me. So she explained it to me, and man, I couldn't agree more. I've been practicing. I just didn't know what it was called, right? I mean, that's what we do at the TPO is all of our stuff is upstream, prevention and interjection. That's what we're trying to do, right? Because we don't, I tie knots for a living, right? I'm not the guy. I turn them over to smart people like you guys. if they're in a dark place, it's like, okay, that's not my wheelhouse, Jack.
Yeah, I don't claim to be smart. I just sometimes they know the right questions to ask. So upstream prevention, that's just getting ahead of the problem, before it becomes a critical incident.
Right. Right. Which is, I mean, not for nothing. That's when I think the most efficacy I think can probably be seen at that point, right? I mean, you can truly get that intervention point, working there, and let's stop them before it starts to get really bad,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And a lot of damage can be done on a person's journey to becoming suicidal. And so as if we can get as far in front of that as we can, then that's the goal, because suicide is a tremendously impactful event, not just obviously on the individual who is deceased, but on everybody around them, professional and
Mhm.
personal, and their whole circle gets affected by that. And so we're trying to reduce harm as much as possible by interacting with people um who might be on a negative path. But there's another key point to this, and that is that if I'm interacting with a veteran, I know that I'm across from a person who signed their name on the dotted line to risk their life for a stranger. And as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much the most compassionate thing that a person can do. So in helping veterans, we really are helping our entire community, because we know that those veterans have a track record of service and of helping people around them. So it's about empowering the most compassionate among us, bring them back to the table, bring them back to the fight, because we need them.
Amen. Yeah, 100%. And when I was a kid growing up, in the 80s and such, I mean, not for nothing, there were a lot of other motivating factors that got guys to join, right? There was, possibility of a trade, learning a trade, school, the GI Bill was going, that thing was starting to get rolling. But when you're talking about GWAT era vets, I mean, there was no guesswork what was coming and what you were signing up for. You knew what was going to take place there. So when you start getting into the late 90s and early 2000s, man, I mean, that's an amazing commitment for somebody to take, and especially for those of you guys that post 9/11 signed up to say, no, I got to do something to help with this. I've got to do my part. That's the part where, yeah, like you said, we already know at least one component. Talk to me, if you will, about building the community. That is, man, what a literally, not just proverbial, but literal mountain to climb there to create that, because it's like what you're talking about there. I can associate it for those folks with a sports background. It's we're talking about like changing the culture of a team. This is a challenging thing to do. It is not just a follow this step, this step, this step. So trying to build a community. How does the foundation, how does the combat recovery do that? What are some of the things you guys do to promote that community piece?
Well, I think the key to any good community is having a common cause. And so we find opportunities to put veterans back on mission and to serve the community, the broader community, and then that in turn creates a micro community.
Okay. And that's through involvement with other organizations, with city, with what are give me some examples of that of how you guys do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with federal, state, and local governments, businesses, and other veteran serving organizations to bring veterans together to solve problems. Veterans love to
Nice.
solve problems. It's, like we said at the top, purpose. So, one of our most front-facing activities is that we get involved in wildfire mitigation and recovery work. So wildfire and suicide are two of the biggest problems of our generation. And so why not use wildfire to fight suicide, or, something like
Y-
that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Dude, that's no joke. Wildfire mitigation, when I was a first responder on the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team, we were right next to the SARS group. And of course, the smoke jumpers were right in that same building with us. Those guys, I mean, that's just that wildland firefighting group. Those guys are just, they're crazy. I mean, that is the work they do in that heat, that amount of time, humping that gear up the side of a mountain, trying to create a fire break or whatever the case may be. That is some serious work out there. So that's got to be super cool for guys and gals to get a chance to see that work firsthand.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, you mentioned smoke jumpers. We get to send two of our participants to airborne firefighting school, and so like I said, it's about giving veterans an opportunity to be back on mission, to experience their purpose and their belonging once again, and to be a part of the solution.
I love that, man. That's awesome stuff. Talk to me. You guys have a great component. If you go out to the website here, folks, go check them out at combatrecoveryfoundation.org. You'll see some great photos and some of the great programs. And there's a lot of the outdoors. The outdoors is right at the heart of a lot of the stuff you guys do. What was the motivator with that? What led you to that piece?
Well, everything we do is evidence-based and effective, and it's pretty evidential that spending time in nature and the outdoors is has a really really positive impact on people's well-being and frame of mind, and so we definitely leverage that to help people heal.
That's good stuff. You guys have got you were in the middle of doing some work. You had a talk to me about the base camp that our mini little hurricane winds up here did some damage to the stuff. I saw that on your Facebook post out there. What is that little facility there, and what actually happened there with the windstorms that came through?
Yeah, so we're partnered with the Heart J Center, which is just west of Loveland, and they've got many acres there, and they were heavily impacted by the Alexander Mountain fire, and so we set up a base camp with 16 by 25 canvas wall tents and a kitchen, a sleep area, and everything, and so that was our, base of operations for all of 2025. And then we actually were heading up to take the tents down, but the road was frozen. We got turned around by the sheriff's department.
Oh
And
no.
then, yeah, and then it was the next day, sure enough, we got hit with 100 mile an hour winds that took those tents out. So we will we will rebuild and we will recover and we'll continue our mission.
Yeah, man. When our Chinook winds come through here, people don't realize sometimes that yeah, it's hurricane level stuff. I mean, I thought some of those winds hit like category 3 or 4, something like that level winds.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, not a lot of people know that some of the windiest places in America exist here in Colorado, up top in the mountains.
Oh wow. The mountain effect, man. That stuff comes blowing off the top of the mountains, yeah, and it comes
Yep.
ripping down through here for sure. Yeah, I was like I said, I was out at your just snooping around on the Facebook, and I saw several of the pictures out there with that. That was quite the destruction that took place there for sure. So how long has the CRF? How long have you guys been operating here in Colorado?
We opened for business August 18th of 2024.
Oh wow, that's right. That's right. So it's very yeah, still relatively new here. So you've got a year and a half looks like rolling here.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very new organization, and but we've grown quickly. We've got a huge team, and we're always busy, which is exciting.
That key right there. You and I were just talking about this off air. That having that team around you is so critical. It's so important, to furthering and for longevity and for efficiency. Tell me a little bit about your team, who you have, basically working with you there, the from inside to outside. Talk to us a little bit about those folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got four on staff, including myself. We've got Mitchell's our chief of marketing. Elaine, you mentioned, is our chief of operations, and then we've got Michelle, our chief of technology, and then we've got a huge pool of volunteers, and that's really where the rubber hits the road for us. The staff are just about doing all the boring stuff that nobody wants to do, but the volunteers are where the exciting stuff happens, where all the action is, and where we really get down and serve the people around us.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, are you guys operating in Colorado only, or is there a reach that expands into the region itself?
So we're located and headquartered out of Colorado, and then we will bring veterans here to get involved in stuff. We have on a couple of occasions gone to other places to help out, where needed, but primarily our mission is based out of Colorado, but we will serve veterans anywhere if they want to talk to us on the phone or virtually, or if they want to come out here and get involved.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, that's basically the contacting you just through the website itself. There, I assume, going through there
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Facebook.
So we're at combatrecoveryfoundation.org. I apologize for the long URL. The Cardiac Research Foundation of America took CRF, so that wasn't available. But yeah, you can find us at that extraordinarily long website and get all the information there. You can reach out to us on we're on almost all the social media platforms. And then we have a YouTube channel with some documentaries and stuff. And we'll be uploading a lot more videos to that soon that are just in post-production right now.
Awesome. When that stuff starts to go, definitely let us know here, and we'll share it across ours as well through the 2 or 3 YouTube channels we have. We'd love to share that out as you guys post the stuff. We'll send links over to your content there because it's going to be good. Yeah, 100%. That would be awesome. This is good stuff, man. As we look through here, talk to me real quick about some of the things that some of the programs and things that you guys are doing here now for 2026. What does the year look like as we're looking ahead here? What are some things that you guys are going to be getting into?
Yeah, so we're going to keep working on our wildfire mitigation works. We're expanding to other parcels of land to increase our impact there. And then we're integral in getting the Veteran Specialty Court started here in Larimer County, and we provide mentors to that. So any justice-involved veterans in the region, they get paired up with one of our peer coaches, and that's to ensure that they navigate that legal system effectively and hopefully, not repeat the mistakes that ended them up there in the first place.
Right.
And then we will be doing, more camping and outdoor type of activities. We've got a fishing group that meets on the regular. We're building out an archery range, so there's going to be archery groups that are meeting, and we're in talks to start a scuba diving group. And so we don't wholly start these groups ourselves. What we do is partner with individuals who have an idea or have an inspiration to create something, and then we provide the foundation, if you will, for them to make what they want, and then to serve the community and veterans, and that way they can focus on where their skills are and not get bogged down in all of the logistical stuff that we all don't find so fun.
Boy, now we're talking, and this is what brought us together because I'm hoping that we can obviously get some stuff worked out. TPO and Romans Warrior Foundation would love to do some kayak fishing with you guys and offer that up as a service where we can take 2-3 people out at a time and introduce them to what we're. Okay, we got a little comment coming through. He'll be Shane Kuhn. This is the founder of Anglers in Action for Christ. That he said he'll be diving next week. Where will you dive at? Yeah, is your scuba club based right out here out of Colorado?
Yeah, so we're partnering with a company that teaches people how to scuba dive, and so I think that they're going to be doing a lot of the education stuff will be done in like a pool, in an
Yep.
enclosed area. And then, but we're also partnering with a dive recovery group that if there's items in bodies of water like vehicles or something that's missing, stuff like that, this group gets called out. And so we're going to be looking to support them. And you mentioned search and rescue. And so that's another avenue that we're looking to get involved in. And basically just any way we can get veterans back on mission, helping out, being a part of the solution. We're trying to create that that avenue for them to achieve that.
Yeah, the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team is still in operation. They were founded in 1972. 100% all volunteer. Went back a lifetime ago when I was with them. We were still dispatched out through 911 dispatch through the sheriff's department and such. Nowadays, I don't know. I think Poudre Fire Authority handles the majority of the stuff up there, but I do know that they're still involved in a lot of the dive operations and, of course, the recovery stuff like you were talking about. So yeah, I miss that work. There isn't a day go by that I don't remember that those days of wasn't always nice getting called out at 2:30 in the morning when the rain's going sideways and you got to go pull a car out of a lake somewhere, but still needed for sure. Shane Kuhn says, I want to kayak fish. Right. Yeah. Did you see your profile picture, Shane? We know you can kayak fish, buddy. Yeah, we're hoping to connect in with Shane when we get back down into the Missouri area there for sure. To get rolling in some of those. So that's awesome stuff, Marshall. That all the different programs you guys have going on to try to open up there, and hopefully we can get some details ironed out and start getting some cool programs working with you there. Where do you guys see this? What is kind of like that what's the next level for you guys that you guys are trying to get to as far as reach? Is it a number of reaching, veterans? Is it a number of the quality? What's the next phase for the Combat Recovery Foundation as a business goes?
Well, my feeling is that if we can show a benefit to leveraging our veteran population to address problems here locally in Larimer County, my hope is that then other organizations, other jurisdictions will want to do the same thing. And so I would love to host organizations and people here to observe what we're doing so that they can recreate that where they are. I'd love to go out and work on the ground with them to help them solve their problems. And so what that would look like is, Colorado's got a huge problem with wildfire. So we put our veterans on that, but, maybe we can get veterans in Florida involved in beach erosion, and maybe, veterans in different regions involved in the issues that are affecting them there. So as far as next steps, it's about retuning our perception of veterans as an asset and
I love it.
as a tool to address the problems that are affecting all of us.
That's powerful, man. Yeah, I love that. And that's, I mean, the application there is endless, right? I mean, as we do that and get more, get that line back in there. Yeah, that's fantastic to see. So start here, working on efficiency, keeping get that lined up. I mean, if you guys are like me, it's a matter of like, I don't want this thing to be hinged on me, right? I want to be able to step away from my nonprofit and hand the reins to somebody so that they can take it and keep the mission going. So how much of that is your thought for the future as far as like, putting the binder together, right? The big book saying this is how you do it type thing. Is that, is that the focus to try to, expand, as you said, get it handled here first and see what you can do to expand that type reach?
Yeah, so a part of the advocacy and education piece is we have a media department, and we try and get
Cool.
out. We're trying to create as many documentaries as we can about what we're doing, so that's just open source information available on YouTube. And then in addition to that, I'm writing a book so that that'll be available to people and they can understand more about our process.
That is so cool. You're a busy dude, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's, just crippling attention deficit disorder harnessed.
A crippling one, he says. At least you can park close at Walmart then, I mean, that's
Yeah. They let me just pull in right the front door.
right, exactly. Give you the roll of stickers and they go on their way.
Yeah, they just bring my little electric cart over and let me beep 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 down the hall.
That's right. That's right. Good stuff, man. So, well, this is cool, man. So it's combat recovery. Let me get back to the banner here. There we go. CombatRecoveryFoundation.org. Just type in Combat Recovery Foundation on Facebook, and you'll find their page there. Find the profile that way. You can give them a follow there. And you say you got the YouTube, and you got all the major social media such. You know, one of the things I've learned is that I was always, I can't remember who it was that told me this, but they said, show me your five guys and I'll tell you whether or not you've got a success, possibility in your future. It's about who you surround yourself with, right? And in the nonprofit game, we talked about your team inside and the volunteers, but it's supporters and sponsors from the community that stand you guys up, right? That give you that opportunity to do this work. They may not have the volunteer time, but they absolutely believe in your mission and get behind. Who are some of the big supporters for you guys that your sponsors, those type of people that make it so that the Combat Recovery Foundation can keep moving?
Yeah, so the Buckley Foundation has been a huge help, as well as Land Rover, Mercedes. Then we have the Double S Group, which is a real estate group here locally. But we've done something kind of innovative, or that doesn't happen a whole lot in the nonprofit world, and we don't accept tax dollars or grants, or spend a lot of time writing them and chasing them. So what we've done is created a whole bunch of brand collaborations where you as a consumer can choose to purchase from these brands, and then when you do, a portion of the proceeds come to support the nonprofit, and so that as you consume, you can be a part of solving problems in your local community. And so those collaborations are Wander Coffee. We have Rising Phoenix Roast with them. We've got a chocolate bar with Nuanced Chocolate. We've got a line of, I've got the can here, these just came out. We've got a line of cider from Patriot Press. And that's our own brand that we've created with Sweetheart Winery.
Nice.
And then you've heard of Spyderco Knives, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're based out here out of Colorado, and so you can now buy a CRF edition Spyderco knife, and the proceeds benefit suicide prevention for veterans. We've got a lot more collaborations on the way.
That is so cool, and that's super innovative, man. Dude, the game of chasing grants down there. I had a chance to break bread with a professional grant writer. He works for a very very big and prolific nonprofit in northern Colorado that does a lot of work up there. And even he said, and this is a guy that this is all he does 24/7, right? He writes grants for this nonprofit. And he said, if you get a 10 to 11% success, you're doing good. And I'm thinking to myself, good night, dog. What 10, 11? That's like profit margins on a grocery store, right? It's not fantastic.
Yeah, grants are extremely expensive to write, to chase, and then here's a piece that's missing from the conversation often, is that you have to then be involved in compliance to that grant, and often that requires hiring people, like sometimes multiple people, just to do the grant compliance piece. And so what happens is you have massive organization. Well, I shouldn't say massive. So prior to starting Combat Recovery Foundation, I worked for another nonprofit focused on suicide prevention. They had a staff of 12 people. One person prevented suicide, and everybody else wrote grants and planned events.
Oh my gosh.
So it really becomes a self-licking ice cream cone. And I think that's why I started the Combat Recovery Foundation, to do it differently. And that's why our tagline is evidence-based and effective, because if it's not, we won't do it.
I love that, man. Dude, you guys are the real. You're the real deal. You're the real people out there, and I'm excited. I feel better to know you guys, and I'm excited for the future to work alongside you, in whatever capacity it is. Anything we can do to help, we're in. You can count on us. You've got the Romans Warrior Foundation and the True Patriot Outfitters, in whatever capacity we can provide. Additional help and service in that area to help you guys out. We're in this thing completely. You guys are doing amazing stuff, and yeah, that's not a lot of people want to talk about that kind of stuff, the extra bloat that happens in some of the other areas out there, because hey man, it's good work is good work, right? We never want to poo poo on that, but at the same time there's effective good work too. And there's so many organizations out there that have their heart in the right place, that are trying to do it differently and trying to make sure that they're staying focused on the mission at hand. That boy, they're grabbing some of the peaches that are falling off the tree, right? They're looking for those. They're looking for those ground peaches half the time, while everybody else is picking from the other side. It makes it difficult for sure. Dude, this is exciting to watch you guys out there, doing some of that work there. And the brand stuff. What brought on that? That's stuck in my head here. That's a fantastic idea. It's well, like most people know about the King Super stuff, right? You can
Mhm.
get used to be able to get signed up. Right now, they've put a halt on that program. So if you're in, good job. If you're new on the outside trying to get in, I don't know if they're going to bring that program, back the way it used to, or what the deal is. But right now, they've got a halt on it there. But that's awesome. But what led you to the other side of it, as far as the co-branding? What brought that up? Was it just a creative session, or just an opportunity?
A little bit hard for me to put my finger on that. I think it's a result of my being self-employed for 2 decades prior to getting involved in the nonprofit sector, and looking at things through the lens of an entrepreneur. And I think that there's a lot of people in the nonprofit world who kind of look down on business and LLC and capitalism, and they think it's dirty, and they don't really want to play in the same sandbox as business people. And
Wow.
I, you know, don't hold that opinion. And I think that, you know, I don't think that we need to be reliant on, daddy government and daddy VA and daddy military to come and solve all our problems for us and tell us how to do it. I think that we need to get together in a room. We need to put our heads together, and each person raises their hand for the piece that they can contribute, and then we make, a solution happen together as peers. That doesn't need to be hierarchical.
That that might be one of the most prolific, I guess, series of sentences that you just strung together there. That is yes. I mean, holy Moses! I couldn't share your opinion more. I am of a firm belief that the less we have government involved, the better off we're going to be. Um, they have been they I can't remember who it was that told me this, but it's just the truth. There has been one thing that the government has shown to be extremely good and effective at, and that's killing people. Beyond that, nothing else has been demonstrated to be really good and really effective at. There always tends to be some struggle here or there. So no, keeping it minimalistic as much as possible. And yeah, absolutely. It's not just a money issue. It's a there's so it's such a deeper issue than that, of where we how we get focused. And what a great way to build community, Marshall, with working with the local businesses and working with bigger businesses. That's you're in effect you're building community with community. Holy
Yeah,
win-win.
that's the thought, and look, like, taxpayers are already footing the bill for a $470 billion healthcare organization that's sitting on top of the highest rate of suicide in the history of humanity. So I'm not about to ask them to spend more money on this problem. If you like chocolate, go get one of our chocolate bars.
Dude, I love you, man. That's absolutely correct. I actually brought this up in a conversation with a younger group, um, that was it was pushing on the socialist idea of certain things and the centralized healthcare and these type of things. And I said, we have already an example of centralized government control healthcare already in our country. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, it's called the VA. And I was like, and let's be fair, all right? I'm going to be fair. I'm not a veteran, so I don't have firsthand experience here, but I do hear a lot of stories. I come in contact with a lot of our brothers and sisters every day, and I'm told the stories, and I've seen it. I've seen it actually act out in front of me. And one of the things that I will say is that for every really bad story I've heard, I've also heard a good one, right? Of some great work that's been done. And my response to this young group was, and if 50% is good enough for your health care, cool. But why is it that we accept that for people that have given everything to this nation and to our families, and we just want to sit there and think, what can you do about it? You can do a whole hell of a lot, I'll tell you that. So yeah, unfortunately, we have examples of it, and no, it just does not work. So yeah, that's a brilliant thing, dude. I'll tell you what, you've got my creative brain starting to function up here, thinking for the future here. I need to have some conversation with a few of my trusted folks around me here and see what we can look at, because that is a hell of an idea. And that is a great focus there, and that's where the rubber hits the road. Marshall, listen, man, I can't thank you enough for cutting out time here to come in and chat with us. What would be, just for somebody out there who's interested more about the CRF or considering contacting you, what's some advice? Talk to me a little bit about the people. Number one, folks that would like to get involved in the program, and then the other side of this is folks that would like to help in some way, fashion, or form. Talk to us a little bit about those two things there.
Yeah, absolutely. So every single person has a relevance to CRF, and CRF has a relevance to them, and so it's just a question of how you fit in. So, if you're a veteran or a survivor of assault, or you want to be involved in what we're doing, you want to participate, that's a great way to get involved. If you want to volunteer with us and be a part of creating the solutions, then that would be another way to be involved. But then you might know somebody, maybe it's not for you, but you probably know somebody who this would work for. So you can get onto our website and you can refer people over to us. And then finally, we don't spend a lot of time hunting donations, but we absolutely accept them. So if you want to support us financially, let's talk. And then, there's sponsorships. And so if you own a business and you're looking for exposure for that business, maybe you have a product line, let's throw our logo on it and let's do business together. But our idea here is that our collaborators will experience an increase in sales of that item due to our being on the label. And so the donation pays for itself. And
Right.
So it's a solution that works for everybody.
Love it. Love it. And just reaching through the website there, is that the best way? Through a contact form, through social media? What's the best way?
Yeah, so on our website, there's join us buttons all over. Everywhere you're looking, there's a join us button available, and that will take you to just a basic contact form. Everything on there is optional. You don't have to fill it out if you don't want to. You can reach us through info@combatrecoveryfoundation.org. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. So plenty of options, plenty of opportunities to get involved.
Let's see here. Let's bring this up. Yeah. So here we are at the main page right here. And so let me say, yes, we'll accept the cookies. So yeah, get involved, participants, sponsors, collaborators, volunteers. Everything's right out here, folks. Head over to the website, check them out. Got the events, got Mission Market, contact, join now, you name it. Oh, there you go. There's the one
Yep.
Wonder Coffee. Yeah.
There's two of our collaborations right there, and we're going to get the rest of them up on there.
You got hot sauce. All right.
We do. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Colorful Colorado Creations makes a hot sauce for us.
That is so cool. So cool. Well, this is good stuff. All the information's right here, folks. Head over to combatrecoveryfoundation.org, and you can get all the information you need right there of how you can get involved and see the work that they are doing out there. Let me get rid of that bad boy. There we are. Marshall, my brother, thank you so very much, man, for taking time out to come here, hang out with us, hang out with our listeners here. Those of you that are out there commenting, thank you so very much. Appreciate you guys commenting on this. And for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch live but are listening to this or watching this, thank you so very much. We appreciate you guys just the same. If you have questions or comments or whatever, definitely leave them here, even if you're watching this after the fact. I'll make sure Marshall gets them. If there's anything I can't answer for you, I'll send them over to him there so he can get a hold of those and respond to you. So, dude, is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on here this evening? Any other topics?
Hey, I just want to tell you I appreciate what you do for the veteran population, doing this podcast, running your organization, and there's a great opportunity here for those of us who serve veterans to help each other, get involved together, support each other in that mission. We don't have to be siloed. We do not have to think that we're competing. We need to get the scarcity bias out of the veteran serving world so that we can focus on the mission of saving lives.
I couldn't agree more, brother. And that's something that Brian Romans and I speak every day. One mission. We don't have competition out there. That's not the piece. When we see others, hey, when you have the opportunity to meet another great organization that has its heart in the right place and looks like they've got the minerals to make it happen. Those are who you want to support. And now knowing also the fact of where you guys work with the local community more than anything, that just improves it even better to me in my mind. So absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to doing some stuff there and learning a lot from you guys. That's the other thing is remembering to always watch those out there doing the good work that you would like to do and learn from that and just apply it forward. So, brother, thank you so much, man, for spending the time here. I'm looking forward to the future. Folks, make sure to get over to combatrecoveryfoundation.org. Give them a follow at Facebook and all the social media. Help them reach more and more folks. That branding piece, that's a big deal right there as well. The bigger reach they have, the more they can help their brands that they work with. That's a big deal. So at the very least, give them a follow and a like, right? Smash the subscribe button.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet, man. Absolutely. All right, folks, you know the routine. Make sure to smash our subscribe button for us here and help the Double S podcast reach more folks out there as I'm rolling through here. And so next week, same time, we should be live again. And next week's episode is going to be something, it's going to be different. It's going to be a new kind of deal for us. We're going to talk about AI data centers. I'm going to get some people together that are brainiacs. I served 23 years in the IT industry myself. I've got a little bit of conversation points for this. You know anything about AI data centers, Marshall?
I don't know anything about that.
Nope. All I can tell you is they call for a shitload of power, and I guarantee you they're going to be the next big hot topic of big buzzword that hits the media. Probably within the next 4 or 5 months, I bet you we're going to start seeing this topic brought up because I think they're not cheap to build either, dude.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to have some guys in here that have some inside information on this kind of stuff. And we're going to chop it up. It's going to be an oddball episode for us. So we'll see where it goes from there.
I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about that.
Awesome. All right, folks. See you guys next Sunday. We appreciate all the likes, follow, subscribe, smash. That's a big, big help for us. Keep it going. As always, you know the routine. Tight lines, be safe, take care of each other, and God bless.